Welcome to episode 5 of Synchronicity, our podcast where we know that nothing is a coincidence, thus everything is intentional. You are tapping in to the root of the symmetry. I am your fellow creator, Tehuti Trismegistus, aka Chase Clarence Calloway, and in today's episode, we are about to talk about the Emerald Tablets. Have you heard of the Emerald Tablets? If you Google the Emerald Tablets, you'll see that there are many versions. There's many renditions of the Emerald Tablets. And the Emerald Tablets seem to be mainly related to either Thoth the Atlantean or Hermes Trismegistus, two aspects of myself. So clearly there is a lot of mystery around these. And with us speaking English, it is pretty amazing when I, as the actual author of the Emerald Tablets, go through and read what the people who have translated them to English are saying I'm saying. And this episode is going to be us exploring the point of why English has spread across the world in the first place. And if it actually makes sense that you could trust the people who stole my creations to give you the information that they took. Do you think that the white supremacists who specifically use English to erase indigenous spirituality are going to tell you the truth of what they stole from said indigenous peoples? I'll let you think about that as I simmer some trees.
My soul's been crying, I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C. My mind's been flying wild, my soul's been crying. I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C. My soul's been crying wild, my mind's been flying so high. Through the astral plane, macabre brain, I built your game, we're not the same. My soul's been crying wild, my mind's been flying to relay a word. Those who listen heard, we make our vibe from deep inside. My soul's been crying wild, my mind's been flying back into my space, called away with haste, so I'll fall with grace to thrill my chase. My mind's been flying wild, my soul's been crying too. Water my earth, I know my worth, my soul gives birth to all my work. My mind's been flying wild, my soul's been crying so I can't connect with those you neglect. Time to correct how we reflect. My mind's been flying wild, my soul's been crying too. Who flood the sea with energy from my inner chi? I'm free to be me. I felt to inspire you to say how to fly higher too. Fly higher too. Fly higher too. Hang out with the fam in your true spot. Don't be sad if you forgot that you've got a spirit run and you're not true to this spot. Flip a script and break the facade. Take a trip and go abroad. When you're brave, they will apply. We get in touch with your true God. I've been fighting. I've been vibing when I'm dancing with demons, reversing curses and scheming. They be fiending for reasons to change the sins like the seasons. So I've been falling, cause y'all been calling my mind out of my spirit. I feel it best when I'm near it, but y'all cry for help and I hear it. So Hermes flies out to stare it in a new healthy direction. We'll grow through natural connection. So I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi. Triple my C to level up like it's nothing, to turn into something, to bust into function, bumping and pumping with all the wisdom I'm gushing. And when I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C, I fell to inspire you. Simmer higher, I simmer in the skies, I triple in my chi, then I open up my eyes. I balance in my seasons, I mother the cohesion that keeps us intertwined. Symmetry, balance in my seasons, and I don't need a reason to fulfill my desires. Symmetries.
So the emerald tablets of Tehuti Atlantean, the emerald tablets of Hermes Trismegistus, lots of mystery around these. They're so much older than the Bible, so much older than, basically all these modern religious symptoms. That's amazing. Why are systems and symptoms the same word? All these religious symptoms. Religious systems. Let me break this down real quick as these sirens are going by. System and symptom. So when you have a symptom, that is a malfunction. So a malfunction is then, it always has a cause. So when you have a symptom, for example, like you're sneezing or your head hurts or your eyes are red or you're inflamed or you can't walk, right? Whatever symptom is a sign that the system is malfunctioning. So we could think of a religious system itself as a symptom that the human mind is malfunctioning. And then humans need a crutch because their minds are malfunctioning. So now they look to something outside of themselves, and then they get stuck in like some wheelchair, or they get some cane, or they get braces, or they get these metal contraptions that are actually causing harm to them, but they feel like the contraption is helping them because they are connected to something that appears more intelligent than them. And that's basically religious systems, religious symptoms of sickness, whatever, in a nutshell. And why they would steal my emerald tablets, why they would go so far out of their way. Like, why would these Judeo-Christian colonizers work so hard to invade North, South, and Central America and steal everything from indigenous peoples and then lie about it? The only reason, like everything else is details from this reason. The only reason is that these colonizers are not happy being alone. The power in my emerald tablets is me teaching spirits how to love being alone. And it gets infinitely deep. When you love being alone and you love being in your own mind and you love being able to create, communicate, and play with the energy that you generate from inside of yourself. That is where nature is created from. And this is what life is. This is how we express ourselves in any way. And my tablets, when I share them, when I built Teotihuacan and gave all of my info to what we now call the Olmecs, who then set the stage for what we now call the Mayan, the Aztecs, and the Incans, and just all the Americas then once Spain comes and steals it. It was all this. It's like everything that we're just talking about now. You feel me? I just got to talk about it in a greater capacity because I wasn't limited by the language that I'm using. But now the whole point of what we're doing right now is knowing that we always have to be limited by some language. And in English, we can make up all the words that we want. In any language, we can make up all the words that we want because all words are made up so that we can feel like connecting. our nothingness into somethingness. So the emerald tablets, it's just to make it like point blank, Hermeticism, like just like raw, green, life-giving Hermeticism. That's what all the emerald tablets are. Anytime you see any emerald tablet about Thoth and Hermes, it's me talking about Hermeticism. And this is why I have my series Tablet Talks. If you haven't watched Tablet Talks, if you haven't tapped in to the stream on the website, then definitely go ahead and do that, because we are decolonizing, deciphering, and decoding all the renditions of my emerald tablets that colonizers are making whatever money, belief, structure, energy, power off of. Because when I get into all these tablets, it's amazing how they're all lying. Okay? So this is why I asked that question at the beginning of this podcast. Do you really think that the entities who are working so relentlessly hard to go out of their way to steal artifacts, to colonize and spread genocide to indigenous peoples and steal their creations, do you think that they would really then tell the population or tell their followers the truth of what they stole? Right? Like, I mean, the logical thing is that they're using it against everybody. So this is why the Vatican, great example of a place that has many artifacts and many ancient technologies that have been colonized, stored underneath there. Because the thing is, when these entities are stealing all these works, this is one of the major lessons that is in the tablets, by the way. Everything that I organically talk about is something that I wrote about in the tablets in a more formal way, because it's all about Hermeticism and Cynicism, how spirits create life, and the alchemy, and just using language to articulate that so that we can do it in even greater ways. So when I'm writing the emerald tablets, when I'm giving out the emerald tablets to civilizations, because it's just part of my mission, like it's not just a this reality thing. In general, it's my karmic duty contract as Hermes to fly, go around spreading the wisdom of Hermeticism and engraving that, carving that in tablets. So this is another thing where the Bible stole from me. The idea of Moses going up the mountain and getting stone tablets from God, that's me. That's stolen from me. There's straight up Enoch, Thoth, Hermes, messenger of God, inscribing emerald tablet energy. It's just, again, them turning it into rules, where I'm inscribing wisdom in the tablets of these are the laws of how spirits create life, right? So this is how we limit our infinity so that we can communicate. And then the white supremacists look at me writing that, and then they turn it into, these are the laws you need to follow so you can communicate with us in a way that builds the world we want. This is why they've stolen my emerald tablets. They just, like, right there in a nutshell. It's about them using the laws of how spirits create life to make spirits create life for them. So in all my emerald tablets, I'm writing about Hermeticism, Cynicism, how spirits combine their fire and water to create air, and how do we more consciously create the life of our dreams and build simulations that allow us to connect with each other in more harmonious, hermetic ways. And that's all the emerald tablets are about. And to then get a little more grounded with it, it's about self-love, loving being alone. Again, ST, ability. Your caduceus, your ability to bring your snakes from not going outside but going inside and wrapping around yourself, so you create your own tea repeatedly, your tree, your own garden, your own life. And that's going to be you giving value to the universe. So the emerald tablets are me giving value to the universe. Like anytime I'm called into a world as Tehuti, That's my job with the booty. Looking kind of like a cutie. Whatever. Let me hit this, bro. Because writing is lit. I love writing. Writing is creation. So when I inscribe it on the emerald tablet, like emerald in general, it's about green. Green is life, right? Weed is green. Weed is life. Haha. Cannabis is life. It's a cannabis tablet, bro. You feel me? It's literally about life. Actually, to make it as simple as possible. And how spirits create life. So that's why they're emerald tablets. Now, I also like orange. Orange is actually like one of my favorite colors. Orange is, I think, my favorite color. So, right, when Moses goes up the mountain and gets those stone tablets, the commandments from God, that's just Masons literally weaponizing Hermeticism and weaponizing the idea of Enoch, of weaponizing the idea of Hermes, weaponizing the idea of Tehuti, writing down the laws in which how spirits use light to create life, and then them taking that and making it personal to serve themselves. Because when I'm writing and creating these systems, like obviously it's not about worship. Like I literally explicitly do not want you to worship me or give me any extra attention. The point is that for you to be stable, you should focus on connecting and having sex with yourself. And that is where, if you want to be my friend, like if you're one of the girls who are out here practicing sex magic on me, straight up, if you are one of the girls out here like part of a cult chasing me and harassing me, I can't imagine being that lost. It's like so actually pissing me off now I'm thinking about it. It's so baffling. I'm angry. Like how can you be so unstable? You feel me? Like as a girl, how could you want to just keep going outside of yourself so much that you literally think I would even be attracted to you giving me that kind of attention? Like it just shows me how unempathetic you are. So this would be a big teaching that I have in the tablet. That projection is perception. Projection is perception. And a huge thing to always know with projection being perception is that a spirit, any spirit that you're connecting with, is only ever going to be able to perceive you either equal to or I'm gonna say less than. I was gonna say like it could be more, but no, the point is they can either view you, they can only view you as equal or less than themselves. And this is what the indigenous peoples went through when the colonizers came, when the Europeans came and invaded everything that we created and stole all of it, transformed it into this. It's them, the indigenous peoples did not, they fell victim to this projection is perception thing. They were not aggressive enough in perceiving a threat because they were projecting their own love and peace onto genocidal maniacs. Whereas the genocidal maniacs, they made 375 plus treaties to steal indigenous lands with the rational logic of these native niggers are gonna rape and eat us first if we don't rape and eat them first. And now we have America, where the whole logic rationalization of how it was built was that we need to kill Native Americans before they kill us because we are invading their land and we want to kill them anyway, and we just need to find an excuse to do that. And the Native Americans are here like, wow, we're only focused on coexisting with people. Let's give them our creations. We think they need help. They're here because they need help. Let's help them. And then the indigenous peoples only help, and look where it got them. And this actually pisses me off because I have had conversations with specifically there's one white roommate guy that I had. And he's a roommate I had in college. He was a friend. He became a roommate. And when we were living together, he's like super yogi dude. So he's like a standard like tall white dude from Cali who is into yoga and like into crystals and then into Reiki. And thus, with him being like that basic white spirituality, he was just all about love and light. You know, all the white supremacist Luciferian stuff that built this country. So when Trump got elected, I got very upset in our conversation the next morning because he was just all talking about like, yeah, well, love is going to get us through this. Like, as long as people love, everything will be okay. And I'm here like, what? Bruh. What? Bro. How? Like, you're ignoring the fact that this country was built by indigenous peoples who were only loving to Europeans. And these are peoples who are now not only extinct, but hated by the people that they loved. Like, indigenous peoples just straight up gave all the love to European colonizers. And Europeans made up all the reasons to hate them as they stole all their creations and raped them into this weird genocidal non-existence, yet they still exist because this country is constantly harvesting indigenous energy. And he didn't care. Literally, like, I told him that, you know, specifically, I didn't get that deep. I specifically said, how could you say that love is about to solve anything when love is the reason why indigenous peoples got their land colonized, and love is the reason why so many Native Americans are extinct? Like, and they loved these Europeans that didn't love them. He's just like, no, it's okay. We just have to keep loving. And it's just like, that's the white supremacy. Like, that's what love is, just doing what you want. Love is desire. So when it's so ugly and gross, when all this like conscious spirituality, just this white supremacist spirituality out here is all like, love, just love, be in your desire, want stuff, just want. Like, that's literally how the indigenous peoples of North, South, and Central America got all their shit rocked. Not only because they loved too much, but the people who were colonizing them loved too much. It's all love. So screw love. Indigenous peoples were too lost in their love, in their desire of wanting to see good in people who were only trying to hurt them, and succeeded, as we can see, in destroying and taking everything, basically. And the European colonizers love their desire to consume so much that they'll make up any reason to say why these Native Americans that they're raping are the savages, why these Native Americans that they're cannibalizing are actually the ones of sin and are actually immoral. They're the ones who need Jesus, even though they're the ones who fast. You eat 3 times a day, you eat garbage while worshiping the sacrifice of a guy who fasted. And then you're using that logic to go kill, rape, murder, and steal the creations from other people who naturally fast. All because you love. Great. Shout out love. Ugh. So it's desire. It's literally just... So, right, I'm saying all that to really drive in the point that love is desire. And when you love yourself, that means you want yourself. So if you don't love yourself, that means you don't want yourself as a spirit. And if you don't want yourself as a spirit, to me, that's like impossible. You know, like, to me, that's impossible because you are only your spirit. If you don't want your spirit, then like, what else could you want? Then that's how we get infinitely consumptive. And then that's how a spirit gets lost in creating all this logic that allows them to consume the attention of other spirits, all because they don't feel like being alone with themselves. This is why they've stolen my emerald tablets and turned it into the Bible, turned it into all these rules and regulations that are meant to rape you and steal all of your gold. Just ram because rate R is 18 in the English alphabet. Letter R is 18. So it's about taking this individual perspective and giving this individual idea this one rule and penetrating it into your into your soul repeatedly, so that it gives birth to a new perspective. And that new perspective is the manifestation of whatever system you start to follow once you start to get raped and rammed repeatedly by the idea that you are choosing to pay attention to, or the idea that is choosing to penetrate your space and you don't want to pay attention to it. And then that just brings us to the whole Hermetic versus Somatic thing, because Hermeticism is knowing you are creating life, but Semicism is knowing that you are creating the opportunity to connect with others, which means that you are not in control of life. You're not in control of what's happening around you. You're in control of your own space, but the fact that you can observe and connect with spaces outside of yourself means that you have sacrificed your control. You've sacrificed your God on the cross, so that you can communicate what you as God are always doing alone to the external world. And that just, happens in infinite manifestations in many simulations. It's all just us communicating our nothingness into something, which is inevitably an expression of our individuality. Again, I have to be this spirit. Like, I can't not be myself. When I express myself, I naturally am just doing what I've done before, and I'm naturally building upon what I've done before, because that's my point. And this is what we all naturally do as space. You as a space cannot build upon anything but your own feeling, but yourself. So this is why my emerald tablets mainly, there's a lot that I cover, because actually there's a lot of tablets. So it's a lot. Basically it's like my version of books, you feel me? So this is the new wave, where now I'm just here putting it in a vibrational files, vibrational wave forms, so that instead of reading it, you just listen. Got my voice here. Internet age, baby. That's where the emerald tablets are really about self-love, being you wanting yourself, you wanting to be alone with yourself, because you can't ever actually get out of yourself. Anytime you feel like you're out of yourself, that's just you giving meaning to something outside of you with something inside of you. And it's literally like that simple. So you have your feelings of who you are when you're alone, and everything that's outside of you triggers and resonates with that. And thus, that's why everything that you see is a quote-unquote reflection of you, because you can only actually see yourself. See that? As a soul, as water, you are inside of your own feelings. So really, you can only ever see your own feelings. And this is why it's important to turn your water into air, because you can only clearly see other spirits' feelings, and thus actually clearly communicate with others in a non-chaotic, non-drowning way when you communicate, when you speak, when you create a mind instead of a soul. So all of our minds can only communicate because our souls are connected. The only reason you can comprehend me speaking English and saying these sentences and putting these words together like this is because our souls are connected, and thus our souls are making the space that we're in possible. So we have all built a similar relationship with these words, which is how we're all building one soul. So then that's where we get the idea of a soul group. Like the spirits making up your body would be a soul group. Like shout out soul group. Like that's your body, because your whole body is only possible because these spirits are grouping together to make your soul matter. Literally. You have a feeling, you have an individual perspective on the universe, but if you want to communicate it, then a bunch of spirits have to come together to make your soul matter. That's literally what your body is. And to create your body, it takes your mind communicating. That's what we do all the time then. We're constantly using our minds from our souls to create bodies. Just like all of us as spirits are constantly connecting so that we can communicate in ways that allow us to build structures. And then these structures allow us to connect in more harmonious ways that let us vibe based on whatever intentions we'd like to ride out. And then we build greater and greater, and that's just Mount Hermit. That's all my stuff again right there. That's the point of Hermeticism. All of us agreeing to construct any reality, anytime, like this is what life is. Again, your body. We can use your body as a perfect example for all this. Your body is a universe inside of itself that has all of its own intelligence, because all these spirits are agreeing to connect and unite with each other together on supporting the idea that is you. And this is why it's important that you love yourself, because your body loves you a lot. Your body loves you so much. And then your body is thus a physical representation to all the spirits around you, like basically how much you love yourself. Like that's what we see. It's inevitable. As a spirit, if you don't have a healthy body, then that shows all the spirits around you that you're not connecting with yourself in a happy or harmonious way. And thus, if anyone starts to connect with you, they're going to not be as happy, healthy, or harmonious than if they connected with someone who had a healthy body. Right? And this is like, I mean, all realms. Like this is physical, mental, emotional, everything. Like if you don't have a healthy emotional body, then it's not going to feel good when people connect with you. Right? If you don't feel good alone, if you don't feel good on your own, then when people connect with you, you're going to share those feelings with them. Now, the whole point then of a soul group is having the people that you can express anything with, because that's what the soul is. The soul is polarized. Of course, when we're navigating and like communicating with any, like just most spirits and out in the universe, we're always supposed to keep it light and positive. That's why air is water plus fire. We feel like connecting our darkness, so we keep it light. And then this is why everything is deeply subconscious, but it looks super light and super conscious. And then it's all up to us as the unconscious, as individual spirits, to assign meaning based on how we connect the conscious and the subconscious. And this is how we give meaning to everything in life. This is everything right here. This is, again, what all in the tablets, as far as alchemy and science and the true natures of how spirits create life. This is what they stole. Again, there's so much more, but you know, it takes time for me to process all that, because whatever, it's mainly about you loving yourself and you loving being alone, and knowing that when you are alone, you're infinitely creative and you're not limited by anything except your own imagination. And it's amazing how, like, everything I just said right there is something that children will feel and get. Yet it's weaponized in children's shows to make money and then limit us, and then we're forced to go through school and we're forced to live out super unhealthy lives where we're taught that the only way we'll actually be happy is if we become enslaved to the system that is causing climate change and poisoning us with heavy metals.